Thank you for doing this. How's your day going so far?
It's great. It's great. How about yourself?
Fine, no complaints as far as I know. And where am I getting you from? The address says Delaware on your products, but I'm assuming you're not in Delaware.
Sure. So yeah, no, actually, yeah, when we first started, we were in Delaware. So we're based out of Philadelphia, but we spend a lot of time in Curacao and the Netherlands. So currently, we're in the Netherlands, just to confuse you anymore. I mean, in Curacao, excuse me, in Curacao. So.
Beautiful spot. Well, congratulations on that end. And I wanted to speak to both of you because I love the story and the product. Sometimes you just love the product. Sometimes you just love the story. It's two in one right there. So I know that early on that John was given Stroopwafels on a date or as part of a date and fell in love with Stroopwafels. How long ago was that?
Yeah, so that was about 4.5 years ago. Yeah, it's 4.5 years ago. As you just said, I met Femke. I was on a voyage to Aruba at the time, and where I met Femke, and then we went on a date, and she had gave me this package with stroopwafels in it, and that was the first time I had a stroopwafel, and so
Sure.
I became a huge stroopwafel fan at that time, and then obviously 4+ years later, we're still together. So that's the
with stroopwafels.
With stroopwafels.
Exactly. The first time I ever had a stroopwafel, I kind of went, why didn't I know about this earlier? This is the best dessert I think I've ever had because it's savory, it's sweet, it's got texture. I was just blown away. And of course, I really like your product. How long was it from saying, we like stroopwafels to let's do our own?
Yeah, so how the story goes. So we both were in a transition, so to speak, differently.
Mm-hmm.
And business-wise, I was in a transition, like mentally. I'd been in sports a long time,
Right?
As an athlete, from in football, both as a active athlete and then as a business professional in sports, and so I was kind of checked out, so to speak, of all things sports. And then so the time that we met, I realized that there was this huge opportunity, so to speak, in the U.S. And so Femke, being from Holland, from the Netherlands, and then being from the U.S., we kind of just had this aha moment to produce in the Netherlands and distribute in the U.S. to bring the authentic Dutch stroopwafel from Holland to the U.S.
Now, Femke, do you remember the first time you had stroopwafels, or were you like 3 months old and you don't remember that?
Actually, it's the stroopwafel is like the most famous cookie in the Netherlands. Everyone has it in their cupboard. I remember on Wednesdays, I love to go to the market and buy a fresh stroopwafel. So I did that like every Wednesday. And then I moved to Aruba and I found out that a lot of Americans never had a stroopwafel
Right.
before. When we on a date, of course, I made him this coffee with the stroopwafel on top. And my dream was to start a stroopwafel truck. But John, he thought a little bit bigger. So instead of having my own food truck, he decided to make them in the Netherlands and bring them to the US.
Right.
We had to go big or go home.
Go big or go home. Well, when you have a great product like this, a great dessert even like this, I think it's a meal on its own. Not that we're talking about beer or anything, but they always say Guinness is a meal in a can. I think that your product is a meal on its own. But do you put anything on it ever? Do you put any spreads or dips personally?
So in Holland, it's like a tradition to, especially for the mornings, if you make your coffee and then place the stroopwafel on top of the mug, and then the heat will warm the caramel in the middle, so the stroopwafel gets yummy, delicious. What I also sometimes like to do is put it in a microwave if you don't have that much time, only 10 seconds. And there are so many things that you can do with that stroopwafel for dessert, with ice cream, or with make s'mores with it. Like it's like an all-day treat.
Yeah, and let me tell you this, Darren. Like, so the two best things I love to do me personally, because I'm still literally a avid
Every morning.
stroopwafel fan, right? Even with the stroopwafel business, right?
Right.
Morning for sure. With my cup of coffee, I put the stroopwafel on top of my coffee, let it sit there for 30, 45 seconds, melts, and then eat it that way. And then I finish tonight, not every night, but finish tonight, if I can. And it's like a little trade secret for all your listeners here. I take the stroopwafel, make it in s'mores, put marshmallows on it, and make it like a sandwich. So it's like a stroopwafel s'mores instead of the traditional graham crackers.
Hmm.
You want to take it a step further, and if you have time, go to the barbecue, put it in the barbecue for like 30, 45 seconds. Man, it's the best thing ever.
It sounds like your brand should have its own cookbook in the future or recipe guide, because I never thought that you could actually cook with your products. I'm learning new things right now.
Try the s'mores for certain, and you will thank me for that. If you don't, if it's not in the barbecue, put it on some
The oven.
in the oven. Just for a few minutes. Same effect.
Microwave.
Yeah, it's the best.
Now I know. Well, this question, you might have a 10-second answer, you might have a 10-minute answer, whatever you think is right. And that question is, what's going on for the brand as a whole? And when I say 10 seconds, some people might go, well, we're in stores, you can buy it here. And then other people might say, well, we have 12 new flavor offerings coming on the market and some great partnerships, but we can't tell you anything about that.
Mhm. No, you can answer
I
that, John.
guess I'll go ahead. So yeah, we've really been hitting the pavement, so to speak, over the last few years. We've been in business. We're not that old of a company. We're just going into our third year in production. It took us about, was it like a year and a half to get going? From all the regulations and production and distribution, et cetera. So we really been hitting the ground running. Since how we started out was one of our first big ticket items was the Home Shopping Network, HSN.
Mhm.
So we're going into our second year with them. We've been on somewhere in the neighborhood of 13 to 15 shows over the
That's a
past
lot.
year.
Wow.
Yeah, a lot of those. Femke she's co-hosted about half of those, and the other half was just due to the scenario that we were in, right? And then with also about 60% sellout. So we have been done really well on the HSN. And then, we service a lot of coffee shops, independent coffee shops, specialty markets.
Hmm.
Quite frankly, from, east to west, a lot, and at least a couple thousand of those. One of our other big ticket items has been TJ Maxx, Home Goods, which we service all of their stores from the US to UK, Poland, Germany, and the Netherlands. And so on and so forth. But one thing I will say, and I won't make it 10 minutes, but I'll make it maybe
Take all the time you want.
yeah, I always like to tell listeners, like, it's not kind of where we are now, and it's like how we got started. When we started, literally, the first stores that we went in, we walked in with some stroopwafels and a pamphlet and said, "Hey, can you try our waffles? And we'll give it to you. Just let us know what you think and give us
Mhm.
a shot to put it again in your stores." And so that's how we really got started to eventually kind of moving the needle now to getting to some of the larger, mass retail chains.
That is wonderful to hear. Now, this is a compliment to you, John. A lot of people would spend their whole life going, I played 3 years in the NFL, and then that would be the top accomplishment of their life. And every bar they go into, like, oh, you see that guy? Yeah, 3 years in the NFL. And that would be it. But it sounds like people won't be using the NFL byline or credit for very long. It sounds like you've surpassed that.
Look, and we both kind of push each other, and that's one of the reasons why we've been able to move so greatly in the past couple of years with finger licking Dutch. But to your common question, for me, I'm always a person who's trying to set another bar, right?
Mhm.
It's fun about the NFL and making it there, or even spending, I would say a cup of coffee to make a joke with a stroopwafel. in the NFL.
Sure.
But I always say, I think I set the bar too low when I was back then. So, it's easy to say, I want to get to the NFL, right? Maybe if I had this goal of saying, oh, I want to be a Hall of Famer, Pro Bowler, my mindset would have been different. But since that didn't occur and I pivoted to being an entrepreneur, my mindset is just to give it every day, 110%, everything you have, and more good things will transpire along the way as long as you're continuing to put your best foot forward. And so that's kind of been the story. But you got to put in the work. That's the main thing.
You're both doing it. You're both doing it. And my last question has nothing to do with the brand. It's both of you have the chance to answer this. And that's, what TV show can you recommend if somebody needs a new show to start watching? Because let's face it, everyone's watching more TV now than they probably were 2 years ago.
I think you know the answer to that. What TV show?
To be honest, I don't watch that much TV because we don't have a TV here at home. We're watching sometimes on Netflix, so we're not big TV watchers.
That's a good point. But what would you say? Business-wise, what do we watch?
Oh, business-wise? No, I don't know, John.
Shark Tank.
Oh, yeah, of course.
We're a Shark Tank. So when we do our limited time, she's right. We don't even carry TV. That's how much we're on the go. But when we pull up a computer, something is Shark Tank to see what's new and innovative. So of course we would say that, and we've had the pleasure of being able to kind of just connected with some of those sharks, just to make sure like that information is obtained as fairly, or people that have been on Shark Tank, that it's kind of a real thing, but also just to understand more about what potential investors and people of that caliber are looking for, and for us, how to enhance our business through the eyes from a VC standpoint. So
sure,
great show for people who we're looking for something to watch, but also can stimulate your mind. That's, I think, the contrast there.
So if I were to recap what we've talked about, let's see, the main points here. The brand is growing. You're sold in thousands of stores. The sky's the limit. I need to be making s'mores with the stroopwafels. My life is not complete until that has happened. You two are working nonstop. Not a lot of time for TV, but that's a good thing. You're in a beautiful part of the world. Anything we missed here? Website to check out?
Yeah, definitely.
fingerlickingdutch.com. And follow us on social media on Instagram, fingerlickingdutch. And
as Femke said, fingerlickingdutch.com. Instagram, we're very active there. We'll be, to your point about recipes, we just started a blog on recipes through our website, but we'll continue to enhance that. So that'd be something to really look for us there. And coming to more stores near you. We have a big goal of some grocery that we're looking to accomplish over this year and in the following year. So. Yes.
Well, just as you said, you have the goals now that are sky high and you're doing it. So keep up all the greatness. Looking forward to seeing what's coming next and looking forward to eating some more of those waffles tomorrow. Cheat day, gonna enjoy those waffles.
Great. Darren, well, thanks. We're glad.
Thank you both so much and just keep it up. Take care now.
Paltrocast.